Good morning. It is 10:01 a.m. on Tuesday, December 9th, 2025. Call this meeting of the Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. If everyone would please stand, Commissioner Beecham will give our invocation.
Pray with me, please. Good and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we just come to you today as humble people, Lord, and in search of your guidance, Lord. Lord, I pray that you give us wisdom and discernment to do what's right by Wichita County, Lord, that we would serve in our best capacity, Lord. Lord, I pray that you be with those that are in harm's way, Lord, that you keep your protecting hand on each of them, Lord. Lord, we pray and just thank you for this season, Lord, that we're in, Lord, one that we can look back and remember the greatest gift that was ever given mankind, your Son, Lord. Lord, just pray that everyone would know that joy through salvation, Lord. We just ask you to bless us and keep us. I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please join us for the pledge of the U.S. flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the pledge to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, everyone may be seated. Yeah. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So before we get started on our own program, I will just remind folks, especially on a day with an agenda as long as today, it's understood that there will be some in and out. No one is compelled to stay here for the whole thing. If you've got business up top of the agenda and need to leave, we understand that. Just wanted to make that clear for everybody. All right, with that, at this time, I'd like to invite Randy Sudall, in the Wichita County Clerk's office, up, as well as Annette Stanley, our county clerk, for a presentation of the Employee of the Month Award for November 2025. All right, so everyone, we do this every month. It's a monthly award, and I actually, some months the employee I have some personal interaction with, and some months I don't. Randy, I get to work with as part of probate proceedings. Love her customer service. She's always ready to do the next step and help get answers to questions even before I know that I have them or to ask. She does great work with the public and helping me get to the bottom of some questions. And also, she was on the Employee Benefits Committee that did a lot of work earlier this year and really dug into that and seems to enjoy it. Yeah. As much as one can enjoy health insurance discussions. But I do just appreciate your attitude and the work that I have seen you do. And then I'll turn it over to Annette because she is the one who.
I don't have to say anything.
Sorry.
No. Well, there's a lot to say about Wendy, a lot of positive things. She's a model employee. She doesn't hesitate to help anyone, and she acknowledges anybody that walks into the office. I've never seen her being rude to a customer. She helps in all areas, and I like her.
Well, a well-deserved award for Employee of the Month. Would you like to say anything?
Thank you guys very much for the kind words, and I absolutely love working for the county. It's been great.
Commissioners, Annette?
Well, I've got to work with her on the health insurance committee. That was great. I have got to work with her in the office. She is probably one of the newer employees, but probably one of the most positive employees in there that I work with. Always very positive, but she's not scared to also question anything that you have to say. If she doesn't think it's right, she's willing to question. So I like that. I mean, you need to have people that you work with that are strong enough mind to be able to stand up and show their side of the story and prove their point. So I appreciate that.
And it comes from a good lineage of
Oh, is that right?
county employees, yes.
I think we may have some family in the audience, actually, yes. Well, Randy, thank you very much. That's an honor well deserved, and I'll give this to you, and we'll take a picture. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Very good. All right, Morgan, no other unexpected presentations? She knows I love unexpected presentations. All right, it is currently 10:06. We will open up for public comment. Remind everyone that public comments need to be limited to 5 minutes or less, and no action can be taken by the court for any item brought up during public comment. Do we have any public comments this morning?
Judge, I have a comment.
Okay.
Was fortunate to Saturday judge the Christmas parade, and it was a fantastic event. Lots and lots of people attended. I was extremely proud of our sheriff's department for their participation. They showed up. Other departments were there from police standpoint, but not as visible and outstanding as what the sheriff's office looked like. So we'll thank y'all for your participation, putting the float together and everything. So I thought that was really, really good. And then also, I know that Leslie Mannon, district clerk, was there, and she was volunteering and helping coordinate the staging of those floats and coming in. But just it's great to see involvement from all those individuals that make it be what it is.
And they've really got those, that section of downtown especially decorated nice, and it looks great. It's fun to see people out and doing that as part of the area. Okay.
Judge, just a note to, and I think this has not been well publicized, this is an event that's getting started, and it'll grow a lot. There's 16 county Farm Bureau organizations that are holding a jackpot show this Saturday at the Impact. This will be for our 4-H and FFA kids from all across North Texas. There'll be some Southern Oklahoma entries there. This could grow to be a huge event. It'll bring a lot of people to Wichita Falls. It's always good to see our young people participating, but 16 counties, pretty big deal. And there are a lot of people working hard. We'd like to invite everybody just come out and visit for a while and watch the show. It'll be going on throughout the day, Saturday, at the Impact, Jazz River part of the Impact. So come on.
On Saturday, you said?
Saturday, yeah, starts at, I think, 9 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Other public comments this morning? All right. It is 10:09 and public comment is closed. That moves us to the consent agenda. There are 18 items on the consent agenda this morning. I do have one change I need to note. Item number 12 is our motion to approve and authorize the payment schedule for 2026 to all of our outside entities. Thank y'all. There is on there the 8th Administrative Judicial Region. We round on this presentation, all of them are rounded to the nearest full dollar. That amount is actually slightly higher. So I'd just like to make the change in the 8th Administrative Judicial Region, one payment of $10,000.19 or as billed, comma, paid in January. Any objection to making that change to item 12?
And just to note, that's only a less than $1 change.
It is.
It's not gonna be a drastic
And everything else in that, and the payment schedule, I was asked this by Commissioner, is what was approved in the budget, I believe.
Yeah, those have all been vetted.
Those have all been
Very well.
vetted in the summer.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions or comments on any of those items?
I'd like to pull item 15 off, since that's an under $100,000 purchase. And I forgot we could go out just for quotes on those now.
Mark, are you gonna do that with Enterprise, or is that?
I'll go look at all the options. So.
Is there any objection to pulling item 15 off the consent agenda? No. And tabling it completely?
Motion to approve with amendments.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Kincannon, seconded by Commissioner Beecham, to approve the consent agenda as amended. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or any of those items? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. Just like that, 18 items.
Moving along.
Yeah. All right, in general business, I will note that it is currently 10:11, and we will open up a public hearing to consider the approval of a tax abatement agreement with Nymphaea Solar LLC. Let me get my stuff out here for this one. All right, if it feels deja vu, it's because we did a abatement agreement for a solar project last week as well. As I did last week, I'll go through just some of the 10,000-foot highlights of the abatement agreement. And then we've got representatives from the Nymphaea team here this morning, as well as from the City of Burke-Burnett, and I'll invite them at that time to come forward and make any comments they wish to as well. So this solar project is an investment of $165.7 million or more. It is the abatement that's proposed here is a 10-year abatement. Similar to what we talked about last week, this would be a payment in lieu of taxes or pilot agreement. So it's a 100% abatement, but with a payment made in lieu of the taxes that would be paid. The pilot amount for this one is $198,468 a year. That equates to a 60% abatement on the M&O portion of the taxes, evenly distributed out over the 10 years. The Nymphaea folks were willing to work with me and add some language to, we've got a mechanism built in so that if they choose to invest more and make a bigger investment in the project, the pilot goes up automatically, commensurately with that larger investment. It will commence, the abatement will commence on January 1st of the year following operations start, with the absolute latest that would kick in being 2030. There were some additional considerations on this. This one took a little longer than I think any of us expected at the beginning to get to this point, but there was some, as we talked about, I think it made the news, and there was a City Burke town hall about it. There were some concerns and just some general agitation about the location of it and how close it was to the City of Burke-Burnett, and had some things to work through. And the city officials and the Nymphaea team were able to work through those, and I'll let them talk about some of that stuff. But they were able to develop a fire response, an emergency plan, and because of the potential of future development along that corridor, we're able to work on a project which I think will help with that in the future. Again, I'll let them talk about that. I would like to commend Commissioner Fincannon especially, and the parties for all of their involvement in helping get this to this point today. Again, that's the high-level overview. I will be happy to answer specific questions that might be out there, and if there aren't any questions, then I'll be happy to turn it over to them to make a few comments. I'll go ahead and have them do that, and then we can ask questions. First, I'd like to invite the Nymphaea team up, and if y'all will just introduce yourselves,
Sure.
and then if you'd like to make any comments, you are welcome to do so.
Absolutely. So my name is Gerald Bird. I'm with Ernst & Young's property tax team, representative on behalf of Samsung. And we have two representatives from Samsung here today from the development team. We've got Cameron Labat, and we've got Hannah Lee, and then we've got a representative from North Star Clean Energy, Daryl Poprove. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Poprave.
Poprave. So, first off, we want to thank you, Judge, Commissioners, City, as well, and all the parties involved. To echo your sentiment, Judge, it's been a lot of collaboration to date due to the location. I know first we had to work with the Air Force Base to get approvals before you would continue these discussions, and so there's been a lot of parties involved, and it's been great. I've worked with, as a consultant, I've worked with a lot of counties across Texas on developments like these and others, and I've never seen this level of collaboration between the developer and the local community. So it's been really good to see. To just highlight some more of the salient points of the project, like the judge mentioned, minimum $165 million investment, estimated when they get operational 1 to 3 full-time equivalent jobs to operate the facility. They're thinking they're going to start construction in the first half of 2027, and that they would likely commence operations in Q4 of 2028. During construction, looking at around a peak 250 temporary construction jobs out there at site. And yeah, that's kind of the salient points. To back it up, 100 megawatt solar, 60 megawatts of battery energy storage system, 2-hour battery, so 100 megawatt hours of battery storage capacity. And then to add to the comments on the pilots, this is just the M&O portion, so INS would be fully taxed. And I think we have that estimated over the first 10 years of the project to be an additional $700,000 to the county as well. And that includes INS and Road and Bridge as well. So looking at, with the pilots, with the INS, total around $2.7 million to the county over the first 10 years. And then also, over the remaining useful life of the assets, which we're estimating to be around 30 years, it would be, an additional $3.5 million to the county. And then also, this project is located within Burkburnett ISD's jurisdictional boundaries, so they'll realize tax revenue from this fully. So looking over years 1 through 10, $10 million plus to Burkburnett ISD, and then over to the full 1 through 30, over 18 million. So, it's a good project, good tax revenue for the local taxing entities, and we really appreciate it. So I'd like to open it up for any comments, questions.
Quick question you just said there, on the school district, you say that's 10 million over 10 years, so roughly $1 million a year
Yes, sir.
going to the ISD?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to emphasize that for
Oh.
the people listening on the YouTube and watching the Commissioners Court.
Yes,
$1
sir.
million to the ISD it's a big, I would say, an incentive to the school district. Thank you.
Any other questions for the NFA team? Okay, y'all sit tight, there may be some other questions that come
Sure.
up later, and of course,
Sure.
you are the fortunate to be the second on a back-to-back week of these, and so
Okay.
a lot of the stuff we got out last week.
Last
Okay,
week,
a
there
lot
was
of
a lot of
questions.
questions,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
you probably don't get near as many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take
Oh, good deal. You want to take a seat or?
Yeah, go ahead and have a seat.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank y'all for making the trip to, for the investment.
I would like to bring in, I would like to say, well, I'll wait until
Yeah.
the city of Burke does it, they might bring it up.
Okay.
All right, well, at this time, I'd like to invite our folks from the city of Burkburnett up. Y'all know the drill, introduce yourselves, and if you'd like to add any comments to what's already been said about the project.
Copy that, Judge. Dusty Burkebile, Assistant City Manager, Burkburnett.
Mike Alpers, Director of Development, City of Burke.
Back when this was first announced, we started talking with Mr. Fincannon, Hugh Judge, and then we started talking to the developer, Samsung, Nefea, and North Star. Since then, we've come to a business development agreement. We still got a few things to hash out. The language you put into the actual abatement will help with that to shore up that. It's gonna include getting water to the entrance of that solar development for fire suppression, so fire trucks on response can fill up. They've agreed to make wider lanes, turnarounds, make it all fire safe, so our fire department, to include training for our fire department on things they're not familiar with, or if there's some minor materials they need, fire blankets, things like that, they can help them out with that. So that's all part of the business development agreement, and we're going in, and the language you put into the abatement will 100% make that flow really well. And so the city of Burke is content and moving forward.
Good deal. Mike, anything?
No, it's been great working with everybody. I think over the last, got to know everybody a lot more than we would normally, but we finally were able to hash out everything over the last really month and a couple different teams. But, no, I think everybody's on the same page and working well together. So,
Well, and I'm gonna guess that the residents of the city of Burkburnett are some of the most well-informed people about solar farms and abatements and what is and is not, where private property rights come in and where the development and abatement side comes in. Yes, I think that they're probably extremely well-informed right now, because it has been, I think we did the reinvestment zone on this back in February.
Yes, sir.
And so, just, sometimes you gotta go a little slower to make sure everyone understands and is happy and content with where things are going. I would just like to one more time commend both the NFA team and y'all for being able to work things out and get to a place where I think they're gonna be a good partner for development for the city and for county economic development as well. Did that answer your thing, or is there something else you wanted to?
One other thing, when this first started, one of the first things I really pushed for, the city of Burke, if for nothing else, one thing they really need is water infrastructure. So that's one of the first things I brought to the city and to the Samsung when we were talking, is about as far as putting in a water line. I thought it was a crucial part of this whole process. I'm the one that brought it up and thought it was needed for infrastructure long term. It'll benefit the power plant, but it'll also benefit the city long run. So this water line going in will cover all the frontage from right now where 240 is all the way around to almost the river. So that'll put main water infrastructure along I-44 corridor, which is a huge thing, and I really wanna commend Samsung for being a team player in that, because, like I explained to them, it'll help their project as much as it'll help the city of Burke. And they really need it for fire suppression, so I'm glad everybody was able to get that worked out and get it done.
I
Just
appreciate
wanna, city of Burke residents need that. And you saying as far as the city of Burke being the most informed, the ones that actually pay attention and come to the meetings and listen are very well informed.
Correct.
Sadly to say, there's still a lot that don't pay attention and still say things that we've definitely addressed for the citizens. I wish they would come to all the meetings and pay attention to what's going on. Thank you.
Any other, yes, Commissioner?
Does the city have a non-annexation agreement with?
That's part of the development agreement.
As the part of
Yes,
this?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I wondered.
That everything's rolled up into the development agreement, so they don't have to plat, we're doing the development agreement to throw all that stuff, make it holistic, make it whole.
Right.
To
Good.
include the water line and all the fire, everything.
Okay.
Any other questions? Gentlemen, thank y'all.
Thanks, sir.
All right, at this time, I'd like to invite any member of the public who wishes to speak on, for, or against the tax abatement agreement with Nymphaea Solar LLC. All right. And there being no comment, one last, Commissioners, anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask the same questions we asked last week.
Okay.
I know we've already asked them, but if the Nymphaea team would like to come up. Sorry, but,
Pop quiz.
but these are the questions that have been asked of me specifically. So I'm gonna ask them for a second week in a row. First one is dealing with hail. We have a lot of hailstorms, a lot of high wind. What happens in the case of a hailstorm with these solar panels?
Yeah, whenever we source the solar panels, the technology has increased tremendously throughout the years, and they kind of understand in this North Texas kind of region, we do get hail, we do get tornadoes, those kind of things. So we do get solar panels that are rated for hail, for that
Okay.
inclement weather.
Yes, in fact, Darrell Popery with North Star Clean Energy, and we will be the constructor of the project, the operator after it's.
Okay.
And we have a, yeah, go ahead, thank you. We're sourcing an American product. First Solar will be the industry, and they're out of Ohio. They have specific panels designed for hail in Texas. So
Okay.
basically, they track with storms and they stand up.
They
So
stand
they're-
up, okay.
The deflection is.
That was
to
the answer
protect
we
the
got
panel.
last week as
Yeah.
well, so,
Yep.
okay, all right, so, if by chance one gets broken, there's nothing inherent in them that's going to pollute the water supply.
Correct. In fact, they don't use the same technology. They're not a polycrystalline panel. They're a thin film. It's a different technology, less silicon.
Okay. EMF emitted from solar, that's not gonna affect our farm animals or anything like that?
No, it'll be less than the existing transmission line that's already there.
Okay.
345 line.
Okay. You've already said you've worked with Shepherd, so I'm assume that with all your discussions with them, they're completely on board with this. It's not gonna affect their flight patterns or anything, cause it does set at the end of the runway, directly in line with it. Beyond that, migratory birds, I've been told, and I've read also a few articles that migratory birds are drawn to solar farms and other places. Is that a concern, and how do you address that?
Be in full compliance with U.S. Fish and Wildlife standards.
Okay, with it.
And in fact, I would say, I came from a transmission company, transmission over not in Texas, but in Michigan. And migratory birds there's more, I guess, issues with them with the 345 kV circuit that's currently on the, traverses the property than the solar farm.
Well, bringing in any additional birds at the end of an active runway is not a good thing, so that's a question that's been asked of me repeatedly. Are we just building a big bird magnet at the end of Shepherd's runway?
So, we ran a study with our environmental consultant, and they stated that there's actually no direct correlation between the birds and the solar panels, but it could be known that solar panels can like bring in birds. But
Okay.
we have consulted and we proved that this is not the case, and we've shared that result to the Shepherd Air Force Base.
Yeah,
and
I'll
they
assume their
believe their
wildlife
concerns.
biologist has worked with you all on this as well, and they're on board, and they've asked these same questions as well?
Right.
Yes, sir.
We have an MOU with the Shepherd Air
Okay.
Chiefs.
Okay.
One quick follow-up with what he said as far as hail damage, and I'll ask this because I asked the last one. Hail damage, tornado, whatever it is, this is a $165 million investment. I'm sure you have this insured, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So let's say a tornado comes through and took out a quarter of your panels, which tornado could do that, tear them all up. I'm assuming your insurance would take care of, y'all would rebuild that promptly. You wouldn't want it to be down. Is that true, or yes or no?
That is true.
Okay. And that's getting back to that, citizens claiming that if something happened, that y'all would just walk away from a damaged field like that. The whole, y'all are on the hook for this project. It's gotta be going, you have to pay them money every year. You're not wanting to
We'll
walk
have to
away
pay
from
the
it.
landowner for 30+ years, so.
Right, so,
So what happens in year 31? What do you do with the property if you decide to walk away? What happens
There's a
with it?
decommissioning bond to
Okay.
take the project off. In fact, there is a bond when the lease ends with the landowner to have it go back to what it is today, which could be a tillable field.
A tillable field, and there's no,
Battery, underground wiring, everything.
everything comes out, and the ground's not sterilized because you've used sterilants to keep weeds out or anything like that? I'm asking, no, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
that is correct, sir.
Okay, and the field that remains grassland, or are we rocking it, or?
There'll be some rock, some grass. We're obviously still looking at options because
Okay.
we haven't designed the facility past 10%.
So how do you maintain the grass if it's left grass? Do you,
Either contractors or sheep.
sheep, okay,
Not goats.
not sterilants or anything of that nature that will affect the groundwater, cause Burt Winnett does draw a lot of their water source from underground springs, so.
If
or
it's
underground
sheep,
water.
it might be, more wild grasses than,
Okay,
subdivision grass, but they don't eat the subdivision grass as well.
okay,
And on the bird issue, I will say this, as part of the memorandum of understanding that, even before we did the reinvestment zone, that, I had asked, the Samsung team to get with Shepherd on, and they had that MOU, and part of that is the bird strike hazard risk that they notify Shepherd and, the construction, and once they get close to operations. So Shepherd's aware, and if they become aware of an issue that needs to be mitigated, as part of the MOU, they are committing to take mitigation measures if there is one.
oh, that's in the MOU?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, awesome, cause that's been brought up to me repeatedly, and I'm kinda used to working that world, I've been to a lot of their bird strike meetings, so I'm fully aware of the issues that are surrounding Shepherd with bird strike, so. I think that's all the questions I have. And I appreciate you answering them.
Sure.
And again, a lot of it is because, as you well know, can imagine, members of the public who are either unable or unwilling to show up here and express, they go through their elected representatives, and so a lot of those questions are just questions that our folks are getting asked. It's good to have answers.
If anyone has any other questions?
Birds are attracted to the panels, they won't stay long when they figure out they can't eat them.
Well, from a distance, I've driven out west, and from a distance, they do look like a body of water when you're approaching them, and I think that's the argument that a lot of people make, that they attract the migratory birds because they may look like water from the air.
I think it'll be a lot less of a problem than sandhill cranes on a large wheat field, I'm telling you.
Yeah, yeah.
And
There's,
Judge, I'm assuming that the similar language to what you showed me last week concerning if they was to merge or find a different developer or sell out, that carries forward as far as what they're obligated to maintain for us.
Yep, the abatement agreement will transfer to a different, carries a different owner or developer. And the same obligations would be on that next party, and same economic incentives, everything transfers.
In just the 30,000 foot view of what does this do to the no new revenue calculation with the addition of property on our rolls, but yet no payment?
So as everyone on this dais is aware, but maybe those in the general public aren't, when the no new revenue rate is calculated, it is figured based on what the taxable values are from last year to this year. With a pilot agreement, it's 100% abatement, so there is no taxable value being added into that. And so the no new revenue rate is going to be, depending on how you look at it, it's either not affected by this, or that no new revenue rate will be higher than it otherwise would have been if this property were on at its, what the new value of it's going to be.
But the 100% abatement is only dealing with the issuance of taxes on that property. In lieu of that, we're taking a pilot payment over here, which is a separate form of payment for that property.
Correct, because it's not going into the tax rate equation, it is just like a separate payment made in lieu of those taxes.
Yep.
It does allow,
Sorry,
it does, as I said last week, one of the advantages and one of the reasons that I pursued this form of the agreement is it allows us a known quantity, and I think that's also why the other party likes it too, is it's a known quantity of, you make this investment, you know what that payment's going to be every year. You don't get caught up in fights over what it's praised at and what the value is. And for as large of an investment as this is, and what it could potentially mean for us from a budgeting perspective and how we know what we're going to need year to year moving forward and projecting, it gives us a solid ground to work from. We know what that amount's going to be, rather than it could potentially roller coaster. And
It
again,
takes the equipment depreciation factor out of it also,
yes,
which I don't know what the depreciation schedule on a solar panel is. Is it 30
it's
years?
a set. Yeah, I mean, it's, the legislature establishes what that is.
Yeah.
There's a couple different methods for looking at it, and we talked back and forth on what those are, but it's largely set in stone by the legislature, and that payment is equivalent to if we had done a 60% abatement over the course of.
And this doesn't affect the real property here.
That's correct.
It's just separate and apart.
Yeah, the real property is gonna no longer get the ag exemption, because it'll now be used for commercial purposes, but.
Yeah, so there'd be an ag rollback payment with that, which I think is estimated to be around 75,000. So, and the land right now, as it sits, with ag, I think it's 175, and then that'll roll off ag, and that land value will be 1.7 million. So you also get taxes from the land.
Yeah.
Because that's not abated,
Right.
that'll be.
What is the approximate footprint in acres? Is it
What was it at now, Cameron, or the project footprint?
just?
200 something.
900.
Yeah.
Is it
Because-
900, 940? I don't know if I've ever heard a number, to tell you the truth.
And another thing that-
Around 900, I get
Yes,
it,
sir.
it more or less, I get that.
And that's a good point, and on that same vein, they originally were planning 120 megawatts, but they reduced it to 100 so they could
Right.
accommodate setbacks and some of those other visual, blocks, so it's not so obvious from side streets and from freeways and stuff like that, so, yes, sir.
So in your battery storage, you said you work with Burke Fire Department. What, is everything contained within those? Do you have some kind of containment around them in case we do have a fire and chemicals leak out? Explain how that operates.
We'll have a plan, and we'll have training with the fire department before we're operational. We have a consultant drafting the plan, and we have, it'll be fire science experts or engineers that'll actually train the fire department. We're providing grant funding to the Burnett to buy some fire equipment. It's much the same, I'll equate it and this is just something I know, much the same as a high voltage electric substation, where we wouldn't recommend that you pour water on something that
Right.
is full of electricity.
So,
So it's really containment of, make sure it doesn't start a wildland fire around the site. Because if you did pour water on it, we're told that, you know, the chemicals within the batteries could release the water.
Brings up two questions then. You said you're buying equipment and that'll be resident at the Burkmanette Fire Department? Or will it be on your site?
No, it's in the development agreement.
Okay, it's in,
Yep, it was mentioned in the development agreement, as well as an annual training for the fire department. But they'll have a full on-site training with the complete department, probably both of the gentlemen behind me, several other city officials
okay.
on the site. All the pathways were increased to be wide enough for a fire pumper to traverse the entire site, the entire 900 plus acres.
So chemical containment, you just talked about chemicals within the batteries. If they do,
Yep.
worst thing happens, they explode or whatever, and chemicals are released. What did you do for chemical containment?
I am not an engineer, I'm not an
Okay.
engineer, so that part of the project has not been, you know, we're not starting construction for 2 years.
I
So
get
it
that.
will meet
Typically-
all federal, state and federal laws.
So TCEQ will be on board 100%.
And I don't know the Texas rules,
Okay,
I'm from Michigan,
okay.
Well, from the, I can tell you, as
but
far
our
as,
consultants are from Texas.
as far as the city of Burke goes and that being in their ETJ, it has to meet all that criteria.
No, I
Yes,
get it.
it says
I
that.
get it.
If it
I'm
changes,
asking
I am
questions,
not
but
that
asking
person.
me. So.
I'm not that person.
if it
I'll
changes
readily admit.
between now and then they will meet the current standards, whatever they are.
Correct.
And that again speaks to why there was a longer timeline to lead into this, because all of these questions have come up. And Commissioner Beecham is asking questions because it's getting asked, and
Oh, yeah.
it's to help cover that. But, I mean, the city of Burkmanette officials, this is right outside their, this is their next door neighbor essentially. They had a lot of these questions and more, and that's why it took so long. They were working out to make sure that.
So bottom line, you're not parking a big oversized car battery out in the middle of the field, and if it blows up, it just leaks battery acid all over everywhere. In layman's terms.
No,
The batteries themselves are sealed, and they're also in a container that's also sealed.
Right.
And they're on concrete pads, and there's gravel around.
And they're 24/7 monitored.
Okay,
Absolutely.
okay. I could think that's whatever, not everyone, but people that have asked me, I think that's what they have envisioned, because that's the only thing we can relate with is a car battery. So in people's mind, I think that's what they're believing is we're setting a big giant car battery out there. And if it cracks and leaks acid everywhere, then
No, just
we've
like
got
a
acid
oil
in the water
containment
supply.
on a 345 kV transformer, which is as large as a home,
Yeah,
you know, it has to have,
have a containment
yeah,
field.
600 gallons of oil in the thing, so.
No.
They'll be the same containment.
Gotcha.
As do the transformers hanging on poles
Yeah.
everywhere. Yeah.
Is it a common practice that this facility is under one fence, or is it gridded into separate?
It'll be one fence. In fact, we went above the standard that the city asked us for because it would look more like we said we didn't want a 6-foot chain link because it might look like a correctional facility. So we have what's called a wildlife fence, which is smaller holes in it, more anti-climb, but more to keep wildlife out, obviously, because they get in, they can't figure out how to get out until we let them out, so. And it's less obtrusive to the surrounding community.
All right. Any other questions, commissioners?
Thank you for your answers.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, it is 10:40 and the public hearing is closed. That moves us to item number 2, which is discuss, consider, and or take action to authorize the county judge to sign a tax abatement agreement with Tacoma Solar LLC.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We've got a motion by Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Beecham to authorize county judge to sign a tax abatement agreement with Tacoma Solar LLC. Have any questions or comments on the motion or the item?
Judge, I have one comment.
Yes, sir.
We have not had a payment in lieu tax program in the last 20 years, so I'd ask that we make sure that we follow up with Lisa and her staff and make sure that it's put into the CAD site appropriately, and then that way we can make sure that it gets into spindle media and all that set up for the INS and the road and bridge rates.
It's a good reminder and noted. The very first one we did with, it was either Westlake or that step I wasn't aware of, and so went a little ways before, but we got it taken care of. We will get it, so Lisa and Dan have both been a part of looking at the agreements as we've been working on it, but we'll make sure we get it to them as part of our post-court thing. But thank you for the reminder, Matt. That's good. Any other questions or comments on that motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 3 is review and approve the regular bills for payment, verify payroll taxes have been filed, and authorize the county treasurer to disperse payroll and or bills within 72 hours via U.S. mail, FedEx, UPS electronically, or be picked up and acknowledged by a ledger signature in the treasurer's office.
Thank you.
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Mahler and a second by Commissioner Beecham. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item?
Can I make a few comments?
Please.
All right, first one, I got my accounts payable manager back. So,
Not that way.
Yay.
The second one is we had a payment on the LPPF, list this time. It's for $20,000. That is not going to the comptroller, that is going to Wichita County. That is the annual administrative fee for running that program that Wichita County gets to retain. So that's that one. We also made a list for the safe rooms. We are reimbursing 28 individuals in the county for their safe room project. That has been in the works for about 7 or 8 months now. And that can only be done by the help of Morgan, Judge, Dwayne and Lynn and Jordan, so.
Morgan was having to answer the calls we were getting. She was motivated.
Thank you all for your help in that, and we're hopeful that we're now gonna start getting those out quicker.
That has been a much delayed, this point that we're getting to today has been much delayed, and it's through, no, it's one specific entity's fault, especially at the county level. When you're partnering with the state for grants who are then also pass-throughs of the feds, especially with FEMA, it can introduce challenges to timeliness and what paperwork is required and getting everybody on the same page. So for those who have been waiting for their payment, who applied for the program, I assure you, we all feel your pain. We county folks, and I will extend kudos especially to Morgan, to Matt, Jordan, to Dwayne, and Lynn. There's been a lot of work behind the scenes to try to get this. We think we're in a good spot now, and that everything is moving forward. We know what they expect. We know what they need. They shouldn't change that on us. So we're hopeful, but it has been a long time coming to get here, and hope it moves a lot quicker now at this point.
Do we know how many structures we built in the county? It's quite a few.
It's quite a few.
And what this is, if people don't understand, this is the safe room, storm cellar deal that started many years ago, as a matter of fact. And we have built a bunch of them, and that's good for people that live in this county. Well, I'll try to get a number, but that's a neat program.
Yeah, I built one before I ever came to the county, and it is a great program.
Yeah.
And Judge, a question for Matt on his previous statement. The payment, the pilot payment would transfer monies back to INS and the Road and Bridge from that pilot?
No, the pilot's just for M&O, non-road tax.
So there would still be a tax occurred.
It's gonna be normal payment of property taxes for INS, road, and then for Road and Bridge.
And so there is the M&O is 100%. The payment comes form of another check, not through taxes being billed.
That's correct.
Okay.
And I imagine it'll be brought in and go to general fund.
But INS and Road and Bridge do bill with the tax statement.
That's correct.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions on this item or the motion? All right, just to remind everyone, this is the motion to approve the bills for payment, payroll taxes and payroll dispersal. All right, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number,
Are you insinuating we might drift every once in a while?
I would never insinuate such thing, Commissioner. Item number 4 is discuss, considering, or take action to approve and ratify the minutes of the December 2nd, 2025 regular session.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Mahler, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to approve and ratify the minutes of the December 2, 2025 regular session. Have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? That motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 5, discuss, consider, and or take action on adopting an RFQ and authorizing bids for design build form for the Burke-Burdett Annex project. It's a week delayed in getting here, but everyone should have the RFQ in their backup documents. Again, this is for the 3,600 foot county building and parking for the Burke-Burnett Annex. This would have, we'd issue and go out for advertisements at the earliest available time, which I think would be next Thursday. This would have a submission deadline of December 29th. And we are, the design build form, we are looking to hire a firm which is going to do both the design, so that's an architect or an engineer, and the building, so the contracting side, they're all lumped into one for this project. Everything, as y'all know, everything is set up in statute for how this process works. This document is the RFQ to go out and initially get the qualifications back from the firms who want to bid and be considered for this project. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Anything you'd like to add, Commissioner?
No, this is it has been a little bit delayed because it's not a normal way we do things. We are, it is a new way we haven't done before, but so far I'm still on board with this way of doing things. So that being said, that'd be my motion that we go ahead and approve this.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Buchanan, seconded by Commissioner Beecham to adopt the proposed RFQ and authorize bids for design build form for the Burke-Burdett Annex project. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion's before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 6, discuss, consider, and or take action on the selection of a construction contract method for the way station project. Commissioner Watts, I believe this is yours.
Yes, we wanted to basically follow suit with the Burke-Burnett project here and move forward with some work on the way station and get those processes lined out that we were going to do. And that was a consideration to do a design build for the way station, which is the scale house scale house, separate building would be the actual center itself where they trucks pull into with the 3-lane facility. Contain a pit. There would be scales involved, but all of that would be under, there is some signal lighting that has to be blueprinted as well as far as how that works. And but nevertheless, that's the consideration, is to talk about those, doing a design build there as well.
And is our portion of this going to be, there's the building itself, the scale house you talked about. Are we also, it's gonna be part of this to design all of the parking and the whole footprint for the whole thing? How much of that is TxDOT versus how much of that is what we are doing as part of this project?
TxDOT will be able to facilitate some of the parking there in that area for parking. Some of the material for that will be assisted by them. They will help us, or they have agreed to help us in that, but it will not be a cement parking. It will be a gravel parking area. And so basically it's just laying that out and letting us put the material down as need be. From the time it turns off to actual south end of Burnett Ranch Road into the station, Judge, there's probably 2 acres of parking, I would think, similar.
But it would be part of the project.
That is correct. It's comprehensive.
I kind of misunderstood that a little bit. Is TxDOT willing to help design the parking lot and the road access?
Well, I think we have the concept of what that is. We've already, been that far as to what we envision that layout to be. Now, our architect could change that up and actually want some, changes to take place to that to facilitate something. But to accommodate parking outside the, station, which we were amazed when we looked at a similar project in West Texas, how much parking had changed. There was there was just more DPS parking than what we had envisioned originally. That depending on what they were doing, civilian parking that was going on with some DPS employees that are civilian that would eventually be working there. So we enhanced that parking around that office / scale house area a little bit just to accommodate some, but most of it is just a road to the facility that those trucks pull into. That's mostly what it is.
And I know to some degree it's a little bit unfair to ask some of those specific questions because at this point, what this is asking is to pick a method.
Just pick a method.
And then the design work would go in later as part of whatever method.
Yes, and we have a conceptual drawing and a layout that seems to work based on other projects that we've viewed. But no way is that set in stone by any means, and there may be a smarter design to that.
And you said, Commissioner, that you thought that the design build form was the best for this.
I think so. I do feel that it may get us, be more advantageous to us.
That's your motion?
That's my motion.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon, to approve the design build method as the construction contract method for the way station project. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 7 is discuss, consider, and or take action on the selection of an architect or engineer to act as Wichita County's representative for the duration of the way station project. Y'all will remember this came up, we did this about 6 weeks ago, or it was less time than that, but as part of the design build method, we are required to have our own architect or engineer looking out for our interests to oversee what's happening with whoever we approve later on to win the bid and to handle the project. And so that's what this item is for. Commissioner, do you have
Yes, I'd just like to make the motion here, Judge, that we continue with Sid Lidekin. I think he's been really swell to work with over Mickey's project in Burke. He has indicated every piece of that RFQ, the essentials, if we did something similar, and what was very important and what stood out. I just felt very comfortable with him, and I think it's a good fit, and then that frees everyone else up to bid how they need to.
And as y'all remember, when we looked at qualifications for Sid Lidekin Associates when we did this item a few weeks back, and so they definitely meet the criteria there.
And we need to remember, this is a little bit of a unique project.
Yeah.
This is not building a structure on an address in town where you've got water, and all that's gotta be under consideration.
That's right.
And I think Sid's very, very well qualified to do that. This is a little unique.
Yeah.
Not the same thing that you normally do, so. This is a raw land, you got utilities and all kinds of things to consider.
The only thing I would caution here, not caution, just make sure, Commissioner, because when we did our facilities roadmap for the 26 budget with permanent improvement money, I think I've got that here. I don't remember if we set aside anything specifically for the way station or not.
I was thinking, Judge, that we put 100,000.
I think you might be right. Let me. Nope. Sorry, hold please. Gotta find my item that was been for. Matt, you don't know off the top of your head, do you?
No, off the top of my head, it's opening right now. Not my head, but it's still document.
Yeah, understood.
We made a provision, we just didn't have any money, maybe that was it.
Well, it would be pretty cool with a solar farm across the street if we could generate that power at the facility.
We did not budget for it, Judge.
Do what?
We did not budget.
Yeah.
Why?
So, we'll just need to make sure that before we get too far in with the costs for Silicon Associates and their time to help, there's enough obviously to develop an RFQ, but it may be a consideration. Once we've got all of that ready to bring full court again, we will need to have a serious talk about where that funding's gonna come from, or if it means we need timeline that we know where from.
And I'm still working on identifying how the building will be designated with
Oh, that's right.
other county auditors across the state that have similar jobs.
No reason to not move forward with this today and get us moving, but we're quickly gonna come to those decision points where we have to have those discussions. All right, so I had a motion by Commissioner Watts. I don't know that I heard a second.
Second.
Okay. All right, got a motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon to select Sid Liddick and Associates to act as the architect engineer for our Wichita County's representative for the duration of the way station project. Do we have any questions or comments on that motion or the item? All right, that motion's before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 8, discuss, consider, and or take action to award generator bids. All right. Well, do y'all remember we opened up 2 bids last week, one from Dillard Electric, and one from Lofton Equipment. Tana did produce, what you should have in your backup documents, a comparison of the bids. We saw this last week and looking at it again. I mean, there's a significant difference in the dollar amounts. The Dillard Electric one total came out to $87,174. The Lofton Equipment one came out to $111,599.
And it was an apple to apple comparison.
Was.
Well, I would make the motion we move forward with Dillard Electric, as we have worked with them and Dwayne is familiar with them, and they've been great to work with in all aspects of the 2 tower jobs.
And I'll ask both Matt and Dwayne, y'all have had a chance to look at the bids. Any concerns or worries about the ability for them to qualify?
No, those are kind of what we were looking at to begin with. They're Cummins, and they are gonna be propane, and they are what the original grant application was submitted upon.
Okay.
So they should be fine for the grant.
That's a considerable difference, too.
As part of that motion, Matt, you want an amount up to, and do you want a department out of, or just the?
Just to be paid from the generator grant. Yes, sir.
Second.
Yeah, I don't have one yet, so. All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon, to select the Dillard Electric bid for the EMO generators at an amount up to $87,174.27 to be paid from the generator grant. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 9, discuss, consider, and or take action on issuing a county burn ban. It's time for your weekly update with your friendly EMO, Dwayne Birkenfield. Dwayne, come on up.
Weatherman.
He's our weatherman.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning.
What we're looking at, I haven't had any calls this week from any of the fire chiefs out in the county. What we're looking at, from yesterday, there was not a change, in the KDBI. The average, was 462, so we remained that yesterday also. Archer County did go up 1 point from 449 to 450, which is still under the 575 rule that we're going by for where our threshold is. Wilbarger County is still remaining at 577, so they're out that way. That dry line area there is further out west, so but it's gradually moving a little bit closer to us. So we do have a county fire department meeting tomorrow night, so we will go in discussion on that for sure. Really bend their ears a little bit and see where we're at and kind of go from there. But as of right now, I think we'll be fine. The few control burns we've had, like I said, are still remaining. Everybody's vigilant and taking care of everything. We haven't had any of them get out of control. No welders are welding anything out of the tall grass or anything that's got out of hand on them that I've heard of. So everybody's been paying attention, really mindful. I think closer to the winter months we get, the more they pay attention. So, and we've had some recovery at night. The moisture's been up, humidity's been up. It's been real dampy in the morning. So
I don't see a lot of fires in the fog.
If we'd have had one Saturday, we wouldn't have been able to see.
But as of right now, I mean, it's up to you guys if you want to leave it or just remain without a burn ban for this week, and we'll visit tomorrow and we'll bring back to court next Tuesday and advise you on what they went over. Supposed to have some little bit warmer weather this week, I think, just more average. So
Drought forecast does not look good.
no.
I would say nothing in the foreseeable future for the next couple of weeks out, so.
A lot of the models are still claiming we're not looking good. I mean, if you guys farm and ranch or pay attention to the weather, it's not looking real promising for the very near future as far as.
Well, actually, with as many cotton strippers running as there right now, it looks pretty good. It looks real good.
But
For the next week or two.
week or
anyway.
two. But yes, sir, you're correct, Commissioner. It's pretty dry for the next several weeks and maybe months. So
Wind is a big deal too.
yes, sir.
You got wind, it certainly makes it a lot bigger risk.
It's been averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 to 10 to 15 every day, but there are some days where we've had 20 and 30 mile an hour winds, and we got lucky and nothing really caught, or other than natural, electrical or stuff like that. So
Well, it sounds like unless y'all are hearing clamoring from out, that no action again is the order of the day, and see how tomorrow night goes, fire meeting, and talk again next week.
and like I said, if you guys, your constituents in your districts are talking about it and wondering why we're not in it, then bring it to my attention and I'll pass it on to the fire chiefs. But I'm relying on them pretty heavily because that's their district and they're out there all the time.
It's
getting
good to have
sick,
it
so.
reviewed weekly though, Judge, I think this
Yes.
time of the year, it's a good idea.
Okay, all right, then, looks like no action taken on that item today. Thanks, Dwayne. We'll see you next week.
All right, thanks.
All right, item number 10, discuss, consider, and or take action to approve 2026 maximum salaries. Excuse me. As y'all remember, in years past, this would have been part of the normal budget adoption process. This year decided to do that separately. Just a quick note on process. Between Matt Davis, Mike Sloan in the auditor's office, and myself, I think unfortunate department heads or elected officials have received maybe 3 or 4 different emails about this, trying to approve and make sure everything is good. The max salaries document that we're voting on today has been double checked. All of the overall numbers that were approved with the budget match the max salaries numbers that are approved in this document. There were some last minute changes that came in with a couple of departments, maintenance, tax assessor collector specifically, that are reflected in the document that's in front of us that we'll be voting on today. That you will notice, and you probably did in this, in years past, because of when the max salaries was adopted as part of the budget, it was early enough in the year that the previous year's numbers were unlikely to have changed. This one, all of the budget amendments that were in place on December 1st, those 2025 numbers reflect that. So you may have noticed that's a difference there. The only new position that's here that I would just bring everyone's attention to, there is a mental health clerk position in Department 409. This is associated with it's not associated with the county clerk, which has 2 mental health clerks. It's associated with the jail-based competency restoration program that's currently running in cooperation with the jail, Helen Farabee, and Judge Kennedy's court. As part of that grant, Helen Farabee, and court approved this a few weeks back, but they are reimbursing 30% of the salary for this position. It is a clerk that's specifically going to help manage that docket and all of the paperwork associated with the court side of the grant, of the jail-based competency restoration program. It is funded at the level that matches the salary level for the mental health clerks in the county clerk's office. And again, we will be getting about $11,000 back to help, from Helen Farabee to help pay for that position. That was the only sort of out of the ordinary note that I wanted to make sure was mentioned today as part of that document. I'll be happy to answer questions, but I also won't belabor the issue if there aren't any. As always, I'm a human being. As many times as we've looked at this, if we missed something and we get to the new year and someone tries to send a payroll form and it's not reflected there, let Matt's office know, let us know. We can always take action to amend it later. I'm sure we missed something. Matt, do you want to speak to it's probably got more attention than we normally will, to asking elected officials and department heads on how to handle their payroll?
So once this is approved, our office will send out an email to each department and send your max salaries that's approved today, and let you know that they will need to be submitted with an effective date of either 1/1 or 1/2, preferably 1/2 since that's the start of the new payroll, and we'll make sure that all those are added on that payroll.
Yeah, and so each department head will get an email about
Yes,
that.
sir.
And Matt, who is the keeper of those documents? Like, for example, Jim tweaked mine yesterday. And so if I looked at the budget, I wouldn't know exactly what a position pays. But if I needed to know what a position pays, who is the keeper of that payroll form?
We have it in our payroll department.
Wilmer would have such a thing?
Wilmer or James, yes, sir.
Okay, so then you could go back and see what that is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I get confused about that a lot of times, so I didn't know.
Sir.
Okay.
64003.
Yep.
That position went down in 26?
This was a function of the way that the motions were done on bringing it in for the 25 payment, Commissioner. We did not, if y'all will hold on a second, I'll go grab my paperwork on this one, because it was tricky when I was trying to walk through the paper trail of what we did. So back in November, on the 4th, when we made our change, we allocated the $26,000 from Department 495 salaries and benefits to 640. And we allocated a prorated amount for FY 2025, and we aligned the max salary for position 3 and 640 with the max salaries for positions 1 and 2.
Yep.
We did not have with that motion, we didn't put enough in to take care of, they weren't aligned for 2025. There wasn't enough money there to bring those up into alignment. Are you talking about the 2025 number, or are you talking about the 2026 number?
The 26 number. So it's down 0.42%, 25 to 26.
All right, hold on a sec.
640.30.
That'd be the position's not hired yet.
It's hard.
All right, okay, so pull up ClearGov. The total amount the amount that was authorized in the budget for other salaries and indigent health care was $158,500. With that motion, and that's the number I was trying to hit, Commissioner,
Okay.
for the max salaries number, which that does. However, when we allocated the money with the motion in November,
We moved 25.5 from my department.
Okay.
so that new number, Matt, in other salaries should be 158,500 plus 25,500.
Yeah. But there was also half going to the Veteran Service Office.
No, Veteran Service Office positions for 40603 is still there.
So it should have been 24.5 plus the 25.5, which is 50,000.
Can we do this so that we're not doing this on the fly? And
Let's do it next,
do you mind if we approve everything else
Yeah, that's
and
fine.
pull out?
and work on that next week.
Yeah, pull out 640, to make sure that because this got confusing with all the stuff.
Sure.
I think we did two different motions in 2025 for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have any objection to doing that?
That's fine.
Do y'all have any objection if we pull that out and get it figured out, and then we'll bring it back up as a separate item next week? Commissioner Beecham, does VSO look right then from what you're?
Let me go back up. Get there, 4, 6. No, not 4, 6.
What?
4 or 5.
4, 5, 4, 5.
It'll be at the very,
Yeah.
it'll be at the top.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Okay. All right. I'll be the one to make a motion on this, but before I do, are there any other sections that anyone saw that they want to bring attention to? Any other questions to ask? Okay, then I'm going to make the motion that we approve the 2026 maximum salaries as presented, with the exception of we'll pull out the section for Department 640, and then Morgan will bring that one up separately next week to give us the chance to make sure we're accurately showing what we've done up to this point, and then if we need to do anything else, we can.
Second.
Okay. A little honored, Barry. Second one of my motions. right, we've got a motion by me, seconded by Commissioner Mahler, to approve the 2026 maximum salaries with Department 640 pulled out for action next week. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
That's why we start this early in the month of December, because we know there's gonna be some last minute questions that come up.
That motion carries 5-0. Yes, you're right. Item number 11, discuss, consider, and or take action to approve the purchase of Sovra Contract Management and Source to Contract Solutions software to be paid from Department 409 with lines determined by the county auditor. So, after the discussion a couple weeks back when the presentation was made, both Matt and I got in contact with the folks at Sovra to indicate that while thought that the program and its value would be good, the price point was a concern. They worked with us to take, it ended up being $2,000 off the one-time implementation cost and $4,000 off the ongoing recurrent cost to get a new quote amount of, this would be for the source and bidding section as well as the contract management. So this was the both of them put in. The one-time implementation fee is now down to $17,860, which is $2,000 off the previous one. Make sure I'm looking at the right one. Matt, is that the right one I'm looking at?
Yes.
Okay. And the yearly price for year one would be $29,489.43 for a total of $47,349.43. And again, that's $6,000 off of what we had talked about previously.
Nearly 6,000.
Yeah, and $6,000 total. We talked about some other options to potentially reduce the cost. This was where we landed. My personal take on this is that there is value here. There's, I think, going to be value on the bidding side of actually having a more comprehensive network of folks that could respond to bids. Heck, if we get one or two of those, this probably pays for itself, but that is an if. We don't know until we get in the middle of it. On the contract management side, this would be a huge help to both me and to Morgan, especially to her, because right now it is all a manual process done with Excel sheets and calendars and tracked changes and red lines on Word documents, and which came up as part of the abatement deal back and forth with Samsung, is that sometimes you get so many documents working and it can mess things up, and so just adds a ton of extra time checking on things, which costs money but doesn't cost an actual check paid out. Y'all understand that. I think it's worth doing and trying to see how it turns out for this first year. It's a 3-year, it's a year-to-year return contract with a 3-year term. If we don't see the value of it, and this is where, as part of our discussions we had a couple of weeks ago, and I know there's frustration on the software and how it interacts and what value it actually adds. That's going to be incumbent upon us to, if we don't think we're getting value out of it, then we can get out of it and do something else.
Now, Jim, what you're saying on a 3-year agreement, it renews annually?
That's correct.
To 3 years?
Yes.
It's
year
always
one,
three,
renewed,
it's an
year
evergreen
two.
agreement that always stays at 3 years.
No.
No. You're locking in prices for year 1, year 2, and year 3. But every year it's an auto
You can
renewal.
cancel, cause it's through DIR.
You can cancel and it not take 36 months to get out of it?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And if I may judge,
Yes.
the court is well aware of and has had to deal with the heartburn that we've had with prior software. Me, Judge, and several others have already reached out to departments for Tyler Odyssey, including Brendan and his team. We're paying over $170,000 every 3 months to Tyler Odyssey. And we're getting a product that unfortunately we're not utilizing to 50% of.
Right.
And that now workarounds have become the standardized process, and that includes in our sheriff's office.
Right.
We're not getting the value that we need to out of these services that we have. And a lot of that is, some of it is our users, and some of it is that we didn't get the support whenever those things came live. And so we need to start holding people's feet to the fire and start using those software for what they were made to do. So that way we can see the benefit, and we're not just seeing the frustration of, oh, we're paying another $70,000 this year and this system works just for what we need it to do, and we still have to go out of our way to do other things. We've got to start getting out of that frame of mind and start getting into this where the software works for us. And whenever Morgan and I and Tana looked at this the first time, Morgan's response was, oh my gosh, it would, save me 20% of my time per week. And, Tana had said something similar, it would, save her some time for the bids. And I know with the new procurement, that's kind of changed things, but I do believe that for the contract management especially, that there is some value in this software. And
Well, I would add this on the procurement thing. It also is potential that just because it went up from 50 to 100 that we have to,
right.
if we see a lot of, if it turns out to be as even mostly as good as what we saw it potentially could be, we could bring other things that are in that 50 to 100 range, and rather than having us go out and do all the getting the quotes ourselves, to see if taking advantage of the network would bring us some lower costs.
Mm-hmm.
That is always an option that we have. We don't know until we know.
And this is something that Tana would be, in the middle of.
Yes, sir.
She would utilize this program to help her do her bid transactions.
Yes, sir.
And if I can, I watched the first presentation of it, and Morgan knows with her, you can't find some contracts sometimes that are old because this person did it this way, this person did it that way, so it would be a standard place for everything to be, everybody could find what they were looking for. If you had amendments to it, you'd be able to find what you were looking for, and we wouldn't be going back and forth with each other, wasting hours. Everybody on Laserfish, everybody digging through files, trying to find things.
As long as we utilize it for
Right.
the people that are elected to that
Correct.
office.
And this is one place where I think we've got an advantage with this specific one and how we look at it is the two offices that this is going to be managed in and affecting is the auditor's office and obviously the county judge's office. So we've got direct line of sight to if it's providing value and being utilized, then we know, and if not, we'll know that too. Similar to ClearGov, where we were using part of the services and not, and so as the court approved a few weeks back, we took a significant chunk of the ClearGov stuff off and saved close to $9,000 in doing so. So that's where we are with this. I think it's worth pursuing and entering into for year one, and we'll look at it later.
The year one cost is $47,349.43.
47,349.43.
I would make the motion to approve that year one cost of $47,349.43. And that does not bind us to years 2 and 3.
Correct. We get to this summer and the value's not there, we'll, at that point, no, all right, not renewing, and we'll be done and in time to know whether we need to budget for it or not for 27.
Second.
Valuable tool.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Fincannon, to approve the purchase of Silver Contract Management Source of Contract Solution Software to be paid from Department 409 at an amount up to $47,349.43 with lines determined by the county auditor. Do we have any other questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. And everyone, Morgan will be your best friend now.
Morgan's
y'all.
buying lunch.
Yeah. All right. Item number 12, discuss, consider, and or take action to approve Parity Consultants quote number 004096 in the amount of $23,621.17 to renew scale support to be paid from Department 412. Lines determined by the county auditor. Brendan?
It's just support for our scale infrastructure, that's our VM environment that runs local hosted servers. It's just a re-up on their support, we have that every year.
What's you just used a lot of words and initials. Scale and VM.
VM,
VM.
virtual machines.
Okay.
It's our servers.
Okay.
Anything that we host locally runs in VM. It is a scalable process. It's a cluster of servers that we can use and allocate as necessary. And this is the support to keep that running. Even though we're gonna refresh that in '26, this will continue with the refresh. So it's still part of the same support.
This was part of the breakdown of stuff that you submitted in the budget meeting that was part of what we approved in 2026.
Correct, and this is for '25 that we submitted for this year.
Oh, okay, this is for
Yes,
its
this is
reaction.
just, it re-ups at the end of the year, but it is for the current and going on year.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to approve that or?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any other questions? Oh, sorry, we got a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Buchanan to approve Parity Consultants quote number 004096, the amount of $23,621.17 to renew scale support to be paid from Department 412. Any questions or comments on that?
So this will pay out of the 25 budget?
It will.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 13, discuss, consider, and or take action to approve a quote for fencing along the frontage of the county cemetery and farm to be paid from Department 530 with lines determined by the county auditor. Commissioner Beecham.
Yeah, Judge, I would like to reject both of my quotes and start over again. They're significantly different, so I can't really make an apples to apples comparison at this point.
Okay, do we have a second on that?
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Buchanan to reject the quotes that were submitted. To reject the quotes that were submitted. Do we have any questions or comments on that motion or the item? All right, that item is before us, or that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 14, discuss, consider, and or take action to purchase network switches from SHI in the amount of $23,200.29 to be paid from Department 412 with lines determined by the county auditor. Brendan.
These are just replacement switches for some of our aging ones and for the future projects going forward. The new juvenile needs new switches due to new cameras, new systems coming forward. It's just replacing old equipment.
And you've got plenty of room in your budget to
Yes, sir.
handle the
This is,
purchase.
It's budgeted out of it.
repairs and maintenance, it's ongoing.
Yeah. Well, it's budgeted in the standpoint that it's ongoing supplies and
Right.
maintenance that are necessary.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Mahler, seconded by Commissioner Beecham, to approve the purchase of network switches from SHI in the amount of $23,200.29 to be paid from Department 412 with lines determined by the county auditor. Have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 15, discuss, consider, and or take action to approve a budget estimate for first floor.
15, Judge.
What?
15, Judge.
Oh. What did I say?
60.
You said 16.
Well, all right, let's go back to 15. Discuss, consider, and or take action to approve a budget estimate for first floor air handler and HVAC modifications and to encumber 2025 budgeted funds for Department 510. Once we get over about 13 items, I'll just track.
It kind of runs together.
That's right.
We could use a little bit of HVAC right now.
Yeah. This one's a little complex. we had originally set aside funds in the 25 budget in order to replace the air handler in the mechanical room on the first floor, which would take care of the area around HR, law library, and the district clerk, et cetera. And I think get some stuff up in Mel's area too, so, that was a budgeted for item in this fiscal year. Due to some ongoing issues in that area with humidity and airflow, we kind of called time out on that project in order to give it a deeper look and see if we could solve those problems. We put money in the budget for next year to address some of those issues. So we recently approved project number on this, got an engineer to look at it, got an engineer's estimates back. They're quite higher than what we had anticipated. What this agenda item is for is to go ahead and encumber the money from the 25 side, as well as some additional monies that we still have available in the permanent improvement fund in order to potentially cover this project in the future as we get actual construction bids. If we can get the tour here up on the computer screen, there we go. So Brendan will drive us back to the upper right-hand corner, go past the trash can there, other side. Now down to the trash can, pay no attention to the guy standing there. So beyond the trash can,
You want over here?
let me drive so I know where I'm going.
Let me drive.
If you,
I don't mind.
okay. Well, first there?
Can I check from here, but to be a little delayed.
Okay, cool. There we go.
Go to the right, there you go.
I still don't see me. I'm not doing
Right,
it.
Cursor's at the very top, yeah.
Yeah, hold it, there it is.
Ah, there we go. So that's the air handler we're talking about. So monies have been set aside in this year to take care of that air handler. What we want to do is put a reheat coil on each of the ducts that this services. So if I can make this flip upwards, and we'll take a little tour. There's this set of duct bank. Scroll around. Well, in all that set of duct bank, that all gets reheat. So it's a very complex project in a very tight space, which adds to the cost. So what I'm asking to do this morning is to go ahead and encumber $200,000 out of this year's, out of 2025. I was talking over with Matt yesterday. I think we can safely move that money out of permanent improvement, encumber it from this year's funds, and then see where our actual construction bids come in for this. Because what we have right now is a $660,000
Yeah, that was the estimate.
construction, or equipment estimate. So, but that's preliminary. We know that there's some things that can come out of that estimate, and we know the estimate was intentionally made high.
Now, this doesn't affect or have any connection to the 30th District Court?
No, this is a completely different issue, same issue, different area of the courthouse.
Now, Mark, that's not a big snake up underneath that air handler.
There's all kinds of stuff in there. So.
It does look
Looks
like
like
that.
it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So if we took a tour all the way around it, it's a really tight area. It's gonna be very difficult to work within. Each one of those ducts up there get a reheat coil, one with hot water reheat as opposed to steam, because if we keep that steam boiler on all year long, Mel gets melted, so we don't wanna melt Mel, we need
No.
to keep him around.
That's right.
So Ricky could probably do a better job explaining than I can.
I think so, we're gonna have to come in pieces, isn't it? I mean, just piece by piece to get out of it.
Yeah, it's gonna be very difficult, it's
So kind of what we talked about, when we opted to start the project or go out for design for this project, and we talked about this area, of course you can see a lot better now. But what this does is it allows us to run the air conditioning coil at a cooler temperature so we can pull moisture out of the air. But we can reheat and temper that air going back into offices. So instead of the office being 55 degrees like the coil, cooling coil, they can reheat it and it's 70 degrees or whatever that is. So it just gives you that ability. If you don't do this, you have to try to do it in the unit itself. So you have a chilled water coil and a hot water coil. Well, that doesn't change the outcome of the zones, if that makes sense. So you're trying to keep this real cool, but you're reheating it here. So now the air you're pumping out 70 degrees and there goes comfort. So it almost has to be zone for zone for it to be effective. And that's what we're trying to accomplish with this setup.
Yeah, there have been times this year where we've run 80+% relative humidity in that area, and there's no way to control it without making people uncomfortable. Beyond that, we have an airflow problem. When the system was, or when the remodel was done, everything was kept in place as far as HVAC, and very little modifications were made in the airflow. Some were, not a lot, not enough. There's particularly one area in Leslie's area where at times papers blow off of a desk because of all the airflow coming to one specific spot in that area. So makes that desk very hard to work at.
Yeah, so a lot of things are gonna get accomplished then for that system that serves the first floor and a large portion of the second floor.
Back in Tanya's area, is very sparse airflow, so
Yeah.
so a lot gets accomplished with this project. It's not just a simple change of the.
So right now, your engineered estimates, architect corrections are at the 670 range.
670 plus the building.
It's 850.
Yeah, it's
850
850, but that's a preliminary estimate.
No estimates have been done.
Just the engineering
Just
one.
engineering estimate, no construction estimate. We haven't gone out for bids on anything. The sole purpose of putting this on the agenda today was to encumber the funds that we already have set aside this year.
Well, and so, because I went back and looked, we set aside 50 for 2025 for the air handler,
Which
and
will
then
handle the air handler equipment. So
and then we did 3 300 for the rest of the project for down there for the reheat. So it's a total of 350 that we had planned on in 2025 and 2026 and had budgeted for accordingly. So, I mean, there's a significant delta between that and 850.
I get it. And
That's not the question that we're having to decide today.
No, this is just, in order to continue to move forward with this project, to get a closer look at it, to get construction bids, we would need to encumber the funds from this year before we lose them. And then in talking with Matt, we do have additional funds from this year that we can move over.
And like Commissioner and I discussed yesterday, is since it's for an improvement, it'll roll one way or the other.
Yeah.
So.
This is just sort of going ahead and allotting it.
Right, that way he can
2026
continue to
covered
proceed,
for it.
yes, sir.
So is that 200 what we had allotted, or do we have that?
We have 50 allotted for the,
50.
just
Oh,
the
50.
equipment for the air handler.
So you're gonna take a 50 out of 409? I mean, 150 out of 409?
No, it's being
Oh, out of permanent.
It's being a permanent improvement encumbered it's money that if it's spent or not this year, because it's in permanent improvement, it
It just
rolls
goes
over to
over.
409 again. This would just be setting it aside for a specific purpose in 409 that would continue from one year to the next, right?
Into 401, yes, sir.
Yeah, into 401, sorry.
So we've not really spent any of the money.
No, this is not,
25.
this is not spending any money, this is showing the depth of this project has changed.
And
So,
y'all know that permanent improvement's always a little different than the normal funds we work with general, because we don't really roll that over on a department level basis from year to year. Permanent improvement's different because it's a special fund that it all gets rolled over from one year to the next. And so you would just, this would just be essentially allotting some of that would roll over, and it still is rolling over, it's just
Yeah.
allotted for a purpose.
that's it.
Ricky,
That's exactly it.
that main unit, and I know there's several pieces to this puzzle to get all that worked out. Is that 50s Genra or 40s or?
I wanna say it's 95,
Really?
yeah, if I remember right.
Really? That surprises me. I thought it was older technology than that.
30 years pretty old for air
Well, I know 95 doesn't sound that long ago.
If you look at the air
close enough,
handlers
you'll
being
see some
replaced.
pans underneath there. You saw a snake under there.
Yeah.
But there's some pans also that catch the water that leaks out of it, because it's, you know,
Well, that's
it's
been an
a shock.
ongoing, I mean, we've been really looking at that for a long time.
Yeah.
That knowing that there was
We've been nursing that
a
along
date
pretty
with
good.
destiny at some point.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That duct work is stacked in there as tight as it can be, so it's gonna be a challenge to get those reheat
But
coils in there.
is it, the design of that changes, doesn't it, with new ductwork coming in?
That ductwork will essentially stay the same, because
Oh.
it feeds out throughout all the areas of the first floor and part of the second.
So where they go, you know, will remain the same, but it's just air conditioning that air on the way to get to where it's going.
Okay. Yeah, I talk about 50s technology, air conditioning was ceiling fans and heat was a gas heater, I guess.
Or swamp cooler.
Yeah, that's right.
I've asked, surprising Matt here, asked him if he could pull up the permanent improvement fund balance as of today, just so you have an idea of where that stands.
Again, this is not
Right.
not spending a dime, this is just encumbering the money so we can continue with looking at the project more in depth.
You said that project's already got a number, we've already assigned.
Yeah, we assigned a number a month or so ago.
Yeah. So that they
That's
could
why
start
I
the
could,
design.
that's why I could get an engineer
Yeah,
here to
engineering
look at
project
it, so.
process.
That's where I get, I'm a little confused, cause if it rolls over to permanent improvement anyway, it doesn't matter whether you allocate it right now or not. I don't see that there's a purpose in it, but, like I said, but for that reason, I don't care either way.
Cause we don't have it budgeted for next year, we've got additional in this budget to handle it.
It makes it so that it's, rather than having to do a potential budget amendment later if we needed it.
We'll probably have to either way, cause it's probably gonna go over the amount that we have set aside for either way.
Probably.
Maybe, I mean, we build in a little bit of a cushion, because again, like we talked about during budget season, we did that 5-year plan out so we knew where we were on a track of being able to get there. So we were fine with the rest of 2025 and all of 2026 expected expenditures and most of 2027's. So it would, if we were to need to go over and make that decision, we'd probably be borrowing from a future plan and then have to make that budget determination when it comes to 2027.
It's gonna be over anyway.
Rick and I pretty much guessed on, I mean, we looked at the equipment cost and things to make that original estimate, but neither one of us are engineers.
You know, once you reach out to bids though, you might be surprised.
Yeah, and we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
been,
You never know.
we have been in the past on most of these type items, we've come in well under the estimate, and
We're just hoping that 2,000% tariff will come down between now and the time we need it.
one of the big items on there is for a new hot water boiler, which we have one that we think can be reused, which will bring the cost down significantly. So
2.8.
Alright, so permanent improvement right now today is 2.8 million. Okay. And again, all of that gets rolled over. All right.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion to move 200,000, in encumber, or to encumber 200,000 in permanent improvement towards this project.
Second.
You already beat you to it.
Oh, you already did?
Yeah. You know, Commissioner Buchanan's feeling chipper today. So.
It's a good day, isn't it? It's a good day.
All right, Commissioner Beecham has made the motion to encumber 2025 budgeted in funds in permanent improvement in an amount of $200,000 for 2026 for the first floor air handler and HVAC modification project. That motion was seconded by Commissioner Buchanan. That good for what you need?
Yes, sir.
Any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion's before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 6, discussion regarding road material bids and janitorial supplies 2016. Dang it.
16.
All right, Morgan, there's a new rule. We've got a hard cap of 12 items in general business.
He just got excited about reading that list of janitorial supplies, that's what it was. I knew that was going to.
I should have called this the Barry Mahler
Yeah.
discussion. All right, so with the change from 50,000 to 100,000 in what's required for bids, I wanted us to have this discussion to see what do we still need to go out for bids / want to go out for bids. Oh, yours is different from mine. Okay. Do we have an updated?
Mine says road material bids and janitorial supplies.
Yeah. That's what it says online.
Okay.
I'll watch you.
What do you got?
We've got I just want us to have the opportunity to discuss this to see if we wanted to continue with how we had done our road material bid and janitorial supplies bids in the past, if we wanted to continue that for 2026, or if we wanted to take the opportunity to do something different. I had, and it should be in your backup, Tana went through and looked at what we had spent on various different items that we have typically gone out bid for to see what was close to 100 and what was not. As y'all can probably have guessed beforehand, asphalt and rock were the two items that were over $100,000. Everything else that we have done for road material bids is substantially below that. Whether it's emulsions, concrete, other road materials, culverts even, have been substantially below that this year. In janitorial supplies, we do not hit close to those on any of them. And as much as Commissioner Mahler loves hearing me read out all the janitorial supplies, I would suggest, I think for that specifically, we handle it like we do office supplies and other departmental budgets where we trust Ricky and his folks, or Tana, she's helping them to go out and find the best deal and to make the budget that we approve, stretch it as far
Just
as
bought
possible.
Sabra to help us with that.
That's
so.
right. It's all connected. But I'm gonna defer to y'all on the road material portion of, do you like going ahead and getting the bids out on all that stuff? It sort of locks us in, and half the time we haven't been able to get it anyway.
It don't really seem to lock us into anything.
No.
Cause we can get a bid today and next week we call them to go pick it up and they tell us.
It's
But
not
we're,
available,
but we're
yeah.
going to exceed 100,000
We
on
are gonna have to do it on
our oil and our rock.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we're gonna have to get bids on those.
But there's no reason to list everything else.
No, we just need the one
The ones that
one
we
oil that
have
we
to.
and whatever that number is.
And I don't even know that we need to list all them oils.
No,
'cause
just
we're
the
pretty
one.
much usually one oil.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if we need to do fog seal or something later, then we can always bid that at a later time.
Well, yeah.
But it would never be that much.
I've used it
No.
1 year. I
Yeah.
don't plan on it next year. but-
The only one that's sort of a wild card I could think would be culverts. So if y'all are doing, if there's a project, well, heck, we'd run into that with the bridge, for example, that'd be kind of a one-off.
And really, truly, when you get into that culverts, that's more of a, I hate to say it, but that's different departments
but still it's an aggregate of 100,000.
It's for the whole county?
Yep.
Yeah, that one's tricky because,
Well, you never know what's gonna happen,
Yeah.
because you have some bridges collapse.
Well, if you're buying a big culvert, I don't think we're gonna eat that up with our,
Right.
our run-of-the-mill
No.
maintenance type culverts.
I think those ran me, what, $70,000 for those
Yeah.
3 culverts.
and otherwise culverts this year amounted to 3,200. It's just run-of-the-mill stuff, so. Well, we can certainly do that. I think that'd be easier on
Yeah,
everybody,
Yeah.
to do it that way, easier on y'all on the back end of, and also easier on the front end for going out and figuring out what we're getting bids on and locked into.
just quotes
Yeah,
on
but
one
the big
oil
end on
and,
that.
and our 3/8 and 5/8 chip. And I think
Yeah.
Taking good notes, Donna?
I'm trying.
You got people in your ear that are talking that are disturbing everything? I understand that.
But I think that is it, 5/8 and 3/8. But it doesn't hurt, like 1.5 inches is something that we would commonly go after.
we're not gonna hit 100,000 an inch and a half probably.
We're
unless we got
not
a big
going to,
project.
but it helps us because we know what the price is. Otherwise, we've got to call and then they say, well, are y'all an account with us? And then we've got to call the bookkeeper in Oklahoma City and talk to them and see what your price. I'm just thinking that having the price on the sheet is a benefit
Planning.
to know.
Planning,
Yeah, it
yeah.
helps us.
Well, and we may end up too in a situation, I agree with you completely. If the sober thing ends up, we do see such a response from outside on some of this stuff. That's always gonna be an issue because just how many places are there in
There's
our
not many
region
rock
to
quarries to
eat?
go to.
Right, but
And that really affects us, and, I'm with you, that it may make some of that a little bit simpler,
We
but,
only have like 3 or 4 rock beds anyway, isn't that correct?
yeah, and we have to really,
Yeah, we almost go beg for them.
beg
Yeah.
for them to get them.
well, unfortunately, we're still gonna have to do that because of the
Yeah.
amounts
Yeah.
we're talking about, but, okay. And I think what we'll do moving forward in 26 and we start getting ready to get those bid packages ready is just the, rock and the oil that we use that we've gotten close
The one
there.
oil.
And so we're ready to do rock now.
Yeah, it's time
And
to do
so,
it.
I guess, Tana, if we could look at that, we've got some room on oil, but you may wanna do them together, I don't know, but,
Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty well limited. We've got a couple of rock places and we've got a couple of oil places, but really only one oil place, so, you know, I think that what we're using now is typically how it's gonna stack up until somebody buys somebody else out or changes.
There's no way we could tag on the textile on that, is there? Or would we even want to?
I don't know. I've asked Russell before at the city of Wichita Falls and he said no, that he didn't think it would be an advantageous endeavor.
Really and truly, TxDOT's using some different rock that's a lot more expensive than
Coated
anything we
rock and all
use.
that.
I don't know that it would save us any money.
Well, they're right, they're running a bunch of that coated rock and it's different. I mean, I was just trying to find us I just don't feel comfortable when you're out for bids and they don't really want your business.
No,
That's-
and
that
secondly.
may not be the best way to say it, but that's what it is.
But
Makes it
I do
tough.
think that maybe if we can maintain that price for a year, it certainly helps, gives us a little bit. We all try to get that hauling done in this December, January timeframe
Even-
on that rock.
It would get a bid and have an accelerator clause in the bid, so if prices do
Great,
go
we've
up.
never been able to get a bid for more than 6 months. We used to always do it January through
No, I
June
know.
and July through December.
But doing it in those months generally messes us up, cause we're right in the middle of.
I thought we changed the months.
We
to make it
did, we
easier.
did, like in
did,
March
Yeah,
and
there it is.
April
March and October
or
or something.
something, I believe.
Did you say we did, but we missed them?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, cause y'all weren't ready.
So,
Right.
there again,
I
they just
know,
paid for
it's just-
itself.
It's an opportunity for them to tweak their bids up and
Right,
give us back a new price, so.
Sounds
so
like,
that's why we didn't do it.
They don't have any problem with that, though.
sounds like we're gonna have an agenda item on the 23rd. So I guess let's go ahead and get the road material bids package prepared for court to approve by the 23rd.
Okay.
And taking offline of what the specific materials are and how to do
And
that.
Tana, I'll be glad to help you with any of that,
Okay, I
on
appreciate
the
that.
items, the ones that Mark and Mickey are talking about that we never use, and we can pull some of that.
Okay, and then go ahead and do the proof for the advertisement as well.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, and then, am I gonna be able to post this with Times Record News versus Electra Star, like we did the,
I mean, we're still, so right now, we're just on a ad hoc as we need it deal. I don't know that 2 weeks is gonna matter in the big, especially the 2 weeks that we're talking about,
no.
over Christmas break.
Doesn't matter.
Not for
I think we're fine with just doing our normal paper route on that.
so Electra?
Yeah,
Okay.
if that's what the
Do you
normal,
wanna go
And you
3
know
weeks
now, Tana,
because of
there's
holidays?
they have a new
they're not running paper.
electronic link, or not a electronic link, but a electronic presence that they've not had before, just within the last 2 weeks.
Okay, no, because I haven't utilized them, because the last bids we sent out, we advertised the Times Record News.
For the generator, we did, that way
Yeah.
it was a more widely
Yeah.
distributed.
That's right. For this, I mean, get all of it. It's one of those, if the statute didn't require it,
You
we wouldn't
still
do it
reach
at
out
all.
to
We-
those
we
suppliers,
do it
don't
the
you?
way
Yes,
we always do
yes,
it.
Yeah.
verbally and by email,
Mhm.
because a
That
lot of
statute
people
needs
don't
to
look
change.
at the newspaper.
And depending on how quickly we get online, we can do it through Sobra. And maybe some rock quarry in New York will want our business on that one. Let's see what their delivery price is.
We'll send a truck.
That's right.
Yeah.
But no, Commissioner Watts can work with you on the specific things in it, but we'll run it just like we historically have.
Okay.
Matt's going, he can bring us a load back.
There you go.
Y'all made my year that we're not gonna be doing janitorial supplies.
I know,
until
yeah.
2026.
Let's go ahead and amend that discussion
No,
back
maybe
where you
don't
can
do that.
still read them.
Well, it's
Yeah.
just a discussion, so no action
Yeah.
taken.
We're gonna get Tana to come in and read them to you on the mic.
There you go.
There we go, that's a good idea.
All right, any other, thank y'all for humoring me on that. That helps give us the plan for what we wanna do with those items in 26. Any other discussion? All right. Item number 17, at least on mine, is receive update on courthouse renovations and county courthouse annexes. Commissioner Beecham?
Security project, is still going on. They're at the Elections Warehouse and EMO. They're at Owl Park. They're still finishing up here in the annex. Had a little unfortunate incident at the annex where they cut through one of the furniture walls in the tax office with a reciprocating saw, but they're gonna make good on that, so.
Oops.
Who hasn't done that?
Yeah, they're really, like I said, they're great to work with. It's, oops, we're sorry, we'll take care of it and just get us the estimate. So,
Well, they have a price to be of our furniture.
No, they looked at the wall.
the wall,
Yeah.
so, that's going well. Owl Park is for all practical purposes done. We've got some things to finish up in-house this week. I think we got the window put in the other Judge Johnson's office, so I think he's happy now.
Good.
We got some parking issues and a little bit of paint touch-up and things like that, and we're done.
Okay. Any questions or comments or other thoughts on construction? Well, I have good news and bad news. It's 12 o'clock. The good news is that if you're not authorized to be here for the closed session, you're welcome to leave.
Thank you.
The bad news is it's 12 o'clock and we're going to closed session for a briefing and discussion with the DA's office regarding M&F Litigation Company versus James Lane Air Conditioning Company LLC, cause number BC78-CV-2024-0333. This meeting is closed pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071. Consultation with attorney.
Can we
Not,
quick bathroom break?
yes, we are Going in closed session, it is 12 o'clock.
Do any of y'all ever watch, Michael Scott on,
The Office.
The Office? Do
Yeah.
y'all watch
Yeah.
that?
I've aspired to live my life.
Yeah.
When you said Sabra,
Uh-huh.
you know, they were consumed or bought by a company called, Sabre, but they pronounced it
Sabra.
Sabre.
It is 12:15. We are back into open session for items, take action as necessary in closed session items. There is no action necessary. So it is still 12:15 and court is adjourned.
I thought you were gonna say y'all ever watched Trailer Park Boys.